Good afternoon, good morning, good evening from wherever you're at, wherever you're reviewing this from. My name is Samuel Martins. I am a full stack software engineer and currently finishing my backend at ALX. For this capstone project, I decided to go with an all-in-one platform for web development tools. So as you are probably aware, web developers, we use a lot of tools in the webs to make our work easier and to make our processes faster. We use things like SEO checkers, SSL generators. We use things like minifiers. We check DNS configurations and stuff like that. That is what this tool is about. Without this tool, you probably would go to different tabs to look for the information I have just given. But with this tool, you have most of these tools in one platform. So I decided to focus on a few because this is just an MVP. Of course, development will still continue after this presentation and after graduation. So I decided to go with the simplest password generator and a sitemap generator. I decided to go with the three main minifiers for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I also decided to go with an analytics checker. So this doesn't really check your site traffic just yet, but it does check your SSL certificate details. It checks your DNS configuration details. It checks your site security headers details. It checks the health of your domain, and it checks your details from a whois lookup in one. So typically you'd go to different links for all that, but this tool covers all that. So I'll just start with analytics for this part and input my domain. You can see it's running. Keep in mind that you can do this with any domain. I'm just using this domain as an example for presentation purposes. So yeah, let's wait for that to finish. It's done. So we have the results for this domain, and I decided to arrange the results in different tabs. So tab 1 is all about SSLs. We get the common name, we get the organization that has issued that certificate, we get the validity period, we get the serial number. These are the same things that you'd find in any site that has an SSL like this, where you'd see the common name, you'd see the issuer, validity period, and these other details. Anyway, let's go back. See this DNS lookup. This covers all the DNS records that are available on your site. This would be the A records, CNAME, the email MX record, and the TXTs as well. It covers all that. So you can see it's all there, including your email configuration settings, your TXTs, your name servers details, and the SOA details as well. If your site is missing security headers, you can see that from here. And this is dynamic data. This is not data that is pre-coded. It's dynamic. I can do this with any other domain and it will bring different results here. After that, you have the domain health check, where you see if your DNS resolves properly. We see that the result is there. If your site has an SSL, we can see that the cell is available. We do also check if the email configurations are running properly, and all of them are running properly. And then we also check if your site is accessible through the browser, and we can see that it's there. Apart from that, we have a whois lookup, which has your domain name. And since most people do domain privacy, of course, things like the city and the country is going to be redacted and stuff like that. But you can still see the registrar for the domain. You can see the server from which this data is saved. You can see the creation date for that particular domain, the updated date, which was the last time you paid for it, and the expiry date for the next time it's going to expire before it's renewed. You can also see the name servers, and these are basically where these are basically the name servers on which your DNS configurations are hosted. You can also see the status, the emails, and the DNS settings for your whois lookup. After that, you can look at, let's look at generators, where, like I've said, the simplest is the password generator. You simply just generate password. This is a 16-character alphanumeric, and you can simply just copy by clicking the icon and pasting that anywhere. In this case, let me just use here. See, it's a secure password. And you can also generate a sitemap. So I'll do an example. Sitemap generation is basically dependent on the size of your site and the depth of your links. So the bigger your site and the deeper your level of crawling, that is going to be the reason as to why this might take longer or shorter. So in this case, I only have like 2-3 levels depth for the links. You can see it has generated the XML for this. You can simply just copy it and paste it elsewhere in whichever file you're going to use this in. Keep in mind, this is just proof of concept. I can always go deeper into generating things like robot.txt files and things like Lorem some generators as well, but this was quite basic, a feature for that. So the next I'll look at is the minifiers. This is where we get the basic ones like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Minifiers, technically this is what your bundlers do. If you're bundling your site using something like Webpack or Gulp, I think most of them you can use npm package to install extra minifiers, so that when you bundle your site, they can be minified. But for those who are doing raw HTML, CSS, JavaScript sites, or even if they're doing WordPress sites, they can always come and minify their codes here. So let me just do an example. I can come pick an HTML markup, paste it there. On pressing enter, it minifies it, and you can simply just copy and paste that, so it's minified. You can also do the same to CSS. Let me find an example. I can paste my CSS there, and you can see it's minified. I can do the same with JavaScript. Just copy that again. JavaScript there, paste it. You see, it is minified. So the goal for this tool was to avoid going through different links to get the tools that would make your workflow easier. So you should be able to get all the tools here. The next features for this tool would be things like Google Page Insight Speed Checker, where you'd get your scores for SEO, things like accessibility. I already had them in here before, but for the sake of simplicity and keeping this presentation short, I decided to go with the simplest features for now. Of course, this platform may be paid as well, but that is all in the future. So the challenges faced while building this project was API consumption. Some APIs were paid for, some were free, but for some I decided to just simply build the tool from scratch because it was way easier and I honestly prefer the challenge. The site itself is built using Angular for the front end and Python Django for the back end. And yeah, that was not a challenge, that was more like it was not a challenge, it was more like something I was looking forward to doing. So yeah, thank you for taking the time to review my project. My name is Samuel. Goodbye.